All righty, everybody. It is Tuesday night. It's 6 p.m. on the West Coast, 9 p.m. out there on the East Coast. And I don't know where it is where you are, Andy, but that's okay. I know it's Tuesday. It is not Taco Tuesday in a sense. It's not even Tequila Tuesday in a sense. But we may need both of those right after this show. Tonight, we have a very, very special treat for you guys. I have two amazing friends that have decided to join us. They are the Tasty Licks music crew and the person responsible for not killing Andy when he was younger. Get to all that fun stuff here in a second. We're going to go through the usual roll call, and I'm going to have them introduce themselves. I know you guys know two of them, but the third, it's a special treat tonight. We got Rob Brennan up there first. Metal Guy Steven, how are you? Sober Chef Eric, what's going on, my brother? Coming down. King Ginger, how are you? And there we are. All right, guys, give me that elevator pitch. Let's see who you are.
Nicole, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Nicole, no, go ahead.
Oh, you want me to go first? Okay.
Yep.
Hi, I'm Nicole Peters / Good. I am Andy's sister, and I am a music publicist, and I also book Tasty Licks. And I've worked in the music industry for 15 years now, doing a bunch of different things. But I also do artist development as well. And I live in Nashville currently, from Phoenix / LA. And yeah, I guess that's my elevator speech.
All right, who's next?
James, go ahead, man.
All right, whatever. What's up, guys? For those of you that don't know me, I'm James, the Bearded Metal Chef, of course. So yeah, I started doing the beer product content and turned to musical guest interviews with this guy right here, Andy. Yeah, we've just been killing it and just having a good time and interviewing some awesome musicians and yeah, I mean, I'm just having a great time doing it and getting to meet some nice artists and enjoying some cool music, live music actually.
I think that's more words than I've heard chefs say in the last year in one sentence.
I'm telling you, he's coming out of his shell, guys.
Hey,
this guy's
yeah, look at that. Now, Andy, your turn, bro.
My name is Andy. I was the bearded practitioner for about 2 years. I kind of stepped away from the bearded community due to just wanting to try out the Tasty Licks music piece. And because we found that we were actually having so much fun doing music that we were like, hey, and it's one of those things where you have to pick one or the other. So we decided that, hey, I'm going to go this route. I think James is still kind of doing some of the beard content, but for me, I'm just like full time. Yeah. I just decided that I needed to be full time. If I'm going to do anything, like this is my hobby. So if I'm going to do a little bit of something, I'm going to do this full time. And it's been really fun. We've had a blast. Nicole has gotten us some amazing guests. I can't even describe the level of amazing musicians that we've had on and are continuing to have on. It's just been a blast. And it's really been fun. It's kind of got me back into playing music and got me back into, something that I grew up around. Our parents, me and Nicole's parents, are both musicians. And my mom taught music for 40 years? 30,
a little
40
less
years?
than that, but yeah.
30, 40 years.
Wow.
And then my dad's composed all of his life. So we've had him on. We're going to probably have my mom on at some point to kind of just discuss music, and just always excited to have those type of discussions. And during the day, I'm an IT engineer. I just signed my contract with USAA. So I'm very excited to be on board with those. I'm actually onboarding the last 2 days. So one more day of onboarding and I'll be excited. But yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Okay.
And a bunch of kids and grandkids. Forgot about that.
So you're the dang guy who keeps sending me emails when to talk about my car's extended warranty. Now I know who to blame. Coming after you, Andy.
We sell insurance.
Iron Lady, don't even worry, brother. You're here. And Sober Chef Eric already has the quote of the night. Andy, no matter what you do, you will always be our practitioner, brother. Always. Always, always, always. Okay, now let's get the hardest question out of the way early. This is one I wasn't sure if I was going to include tonight, but I kind of had to. What made you guys navigate away from an established channel like yours, Andy, to start all over brand new and have to build everything up again?
So I'm going to get into the political statement that I will say. There are always other things behind the scenes. I actually think that me and James really enjoy doing the music interviews, and we had to decide that I felt that my channel had kind of reached its limit. It had kind of got to that point to where I was like, I'm not excited about doing beard product anymore. And there was a lot of, as you well know, there was a lot of drama in the community.
But we're not talking about that drama. We will not talk about that drama.
We're not going
as your publicist.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about it. We're definitely not going to talk about it. But but it was kind of like it just had run its course, and I was ready to move on. I was like not enjoying the content anymore. And I enjoyed the smells. I enjoyed some of it. And then it finally got to the point to where it was turning into, I felt something that I wasn't really wanting to do anymore. Even just the reviews were a little bit too much at times. And I just kind of found that honestly, we fell into this. We were like, hey, this music thing's a lot more fun. And James actually had got our first guest on. Who was it? Was the bassist for Kitty?
Yeah, wasn't that the punk rocker that you guys had on?
Yeah. So we
Tanya.
had the bass. Tanya was on, and we were just like, "This is really fun." And actually, all it was James. James is the reason why all this happened. To be honest with you, he was like, "I'm kind of tired of interviewing the same guys," because that's what we were going through, like a cycle of beard product guys, and we were like, James, and you can describe what you kind of thought about that.
Okay, but before we go too far,
nothing's wrong with like doing the beard product people. And I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Chris.
Well, I was going to say, before we go too far down that rabbit hole, I think I know where you're going. So basically, you just wanted a brand new start somewhere else to differentiate. I can't even talk today, so I think you know the word I'm trying to get out. Differentiate, something like that. But still, your new channel from the old channel to kind of separate your guys from, in your minds at least, and maybe in other people's minds who find you currently from, and I hope I'm saying this right, Miss Publicist, the dark period.
Yes, I think that there was some things behind the scenes that I don't talk about, but we also, honestly, for me, we found this music thing fell in our lap, and it just happened to be. So this is the stars aligning for us.
That's
James
awesome.
found Tanya from Kitty, and she was part of a group of beard community members. And then Nicole just happens to be, that's what she does for a living. This is what she talks to musicians all the time, and she's looking to publish their, get their word out, get their name out, get their music out. So it just so happened that those two things aligned, that we were meeting with musicians. She had musicians, and we said, we love it. And we've had a blast. I mean, an honest blast. It has just been
seen a massive change in the both of you. You seem happier. Nicole, sorry, I have to take the shot at him. He's a very good friend of mine. And if I didn't do this, he'd probably yell at me. You're walking upright. You're taking care of yourself a lot better, and you just seem a heck of a lot happier. Your show has a vastly different energy to it than stuff before. So kudos, guys. I mean, I know that sounded like I might have been a prick with that comment. It wasn't intended that way, because I'm sitting there looking, going, you had a subscriber base here, and you just went, meh, let's start over. Like the old game show, no whammy, no whammy, no whammy, big money, crap.
We were getting, it was the Beard Practitioner show in channel. And I had 370, 360 subscribers, which I really, really worked hard for.
Yeah.
And as anybody in YouTube knows, but they were all beard content guys, and that's all we were probably going to get in our show. We were going to get people that this is different, but it's not music. And so our numbers dropped massively.
Right.
And that was to be expected. And then we realized we need to just cut. We just need to cut ties, start over, and let's do it from the bottom up. And we already had the experience of the beard. Me and James already had a ton of experience behind doing reviews, doing live shows. We have equipment. It's not like a brand new channel we have to start off with, cell phones and trying to figure out how to do live streams. We already had all that professionally down. So now we're just able to really launch into something with all the right stuff and in the right place. So there's not 200 beard videos that you have to go find music videos. No, or you go, what the heck is this content? That's
I respect it because like we talked about in the green room, my channel encompasses a whole bunch of stuff. Someone telling you, why are you going on a beard channel? What, because I have a beard, I have to be a beard channel? Just because I bring men's grooming products and men's grooming owners to my channel doesn't qualify me as a beard channel, because I do survival gear reviews, I do book reviews, I even do step parent vlogs, I do knife reviews, which, guys, got a new little play toy today and it owns me right out of the box.
Oh.
I know painful.
Where is he? I know Bill Rivers is in here. That brand new Gerber lockdown. Yeah. Guess what? You're gonna have a great video on that one. And trust me, I know making a change, because in some ways I think I've hurt myself by having a different variety of videos on my channel, where some people will come for the knife, but they won't come for a book review. But still, I get that. Right. I appreciate you answering that question, because I'll be honest with you, I wrestled if I should even bring that up, because Andy, we both know I can sit and look at you right now and go, dude, blue shirt, what the hell? And in 5 minutes, you're going to get on Instagram and hear Chris hates blue. Why is Chris picking on Andy because of blue? What the hell? Leave Andy alone. Andy looks good in blue. I don't know what your problem is. We both know this.
You know what? That's the one thing, I'll be honest with you, that has been so freeing. And this is just my perspective. We have just really enjoyed this. It's not that, and maybe it was because I already I feel comfortable with where we're at right now. I did the beard stuff. I had that experience. And so when I'm going into this, I already have a lot of the things down. I'm not worried about my lighting. I'm not worried about, I still worry about that stuff, but I have all of the equipment. So we just switched, and we were just like, and we're having a lot more. The biggest thing that I've learned recently is how to do better marketing. That's the biggest piece.
Yeah.
Me and Nicole talk about that all the time. How do I market this? What is Facebook ads? How am I going to market this better? Those are the things that I'm more concerned about. When I was doing beard content, I think that a lot of it was easy because I knew I had this relationship with everybody. In music, you don't have that relationship. You meet musicians, but then you probably will never talk to them again after you've interviewed them.
Yeah.
Don't pay attention to the angry person.
But that's what. But we've had. Honestly, James, I think, I'll let James talk because I always talk. But James, how have you felt about it? I feel like this has been a great move.
I think when we first started, so when we got Tanya, and even though she was still part of the beard world, she was still in the music world as well. Really more in the music world, as she was more in the beard world because her husband's bearded, of course. And so when we started getting with Tanya, and we just found out there's nothing wrong with like interviewing beard companies and stuff like that was fun. But like usually when everybody was starting to interview the same people and just kind of seeing
it's
more of the same thing, everybody's doing the same stuff, and it just was like we got to do something more different. Like we got to like have somebody else on that nobody knows at all. And so when we started this idea, we're like, man, and even come up with a name. We're like, Tasty Licks kind of works with the dessert. First it was Beards and Desserts, and then it transitioned to like Tasty Licks, and then because Tasty like I came up with it. I remember it's sitting in my car too, and I'm like, what can we name it? And like, well, Licks can be guitar or music, whatever. And then licks can be, something with dessert, so that we kind of mix mash that together, and there you have it. Tasty Licks is, a name now. So,
See,
but yeah, we since we started,
did he freeze?
He
Oh,
did.
no.
down, well,
Oh,
Okay,
here
now
you
he's
go.
back.
we're gonna have to make that switch.
Okay,
That
so
cut off.
see, I'm glad you brought that up, Chef. And as you get back on track with us here,
That cut off.
yeah, well, bringing up the name because I was curious about that, how that started, because I remembered beard and desserts and everything. But let's move on to another really, really burning question. Okay, I'd probably get shot if I didn't ask this one. Nicole, this is for you.
Oh, okay.
You're seriously Andy's sister. Like
Mhm.
he's not holding your puppy dog hostage right now and going,
No, we
"You're
are
cool, I'm not."
siblings.
You know,
Yeah.
I like how she does that. Siblings.
No, we are siblings. I'm like, because he's above me in this view. So I'm like, yeah, he's my sibling.
So there's actual DNA connection.
Our dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
We are from
Now,
the same
okay.
father.
I've seen your dad. Your
Mhm.
dad has like talent, charisma, style,
Yeah.
that eclectic musician thing, and then there's Andy, and there's you. So what? Who's older?
Andy is older.
Must have skipped a generation. Love you, Andy.
Well, you know what's funny is that growing up in a house my parents are just amazing musicians, and they of course wanted us to learn music.
Would you have a question for you, Nicole?
Yeah, 15 years.
Oh wow.
So our parents, they were always constantly playing, performing, and for us to like play instruments, like it was kind of fresh for me personally. It was frustrating because if I picked up an instrument, I mean, I had to practice. What do you mean? I just couldn't play it, and like, my dad is like, he can pick up any instrument and be like, done. And I'm like, did you learn it? He's like, no. He just like knows how to like play. And my mom is like an amazing singer, and she classically trained guitarist. And so I think for me personally, it was just too much to be like, well, I'm never gonna be like them, so forget it. And which is just my personality as well. But I have always been around musicians, dated musicians. Every person I've ever been with is a musician. Friends are musicians. So I think like when I moved to LA and I needed a job, I actually didn't even understand that music industry was a career choice. I just had a friend who was like, oh, do you want to come work at this record label? And I was like, what? Yeah. And then like,
Nice.
kind of that's how it happened, is like, but it makes sense because I like really understand musicians as people, because it's not an easy life to also live. So
Okay. The way you just ran that down, Nicole, you're like,
yeah.
I've been around musicians, I've always dated musicians, or done this with musicians. And yes, all you thirsty idiots watching this later, if you're a musician, don't try. Just behave, all right? That's all I'm gonna say. So you're Andy's publicist.
Yeah, so because my like, oh, I feel like there's an echo. Sorry, I don't know where that comes
It's
from.
not as bad as the green room, so we're good.
Okay. I think because that's my forte, I'm like, okay, first of all, I'm your publicist. I know how to, basically, I'll say this. Being a publicist means that I get musicians into publications. So any kind of Rolling Stone or local newspaper or national newspaper or online blogs, all those kind of things, online interviews come from a publicist. So that's like my forte. I also have done social media, managing, artist development, all these kind of things where I have booked shows for bands, but I always wanted to like book something. So when my brother was like, I'm doing this show, I'm like, let me book it, because I can also put all my clients on it. I can also put my friends who are musicians, down the line. I have connections to all the publicists possible. So if there's like a band you want them to interview, or if you want to be interviewed, like you just contact me. I just kind of know how to do all those things because I am the one pitching in the first place for those people.
Okay.
So I kind of do that round. So I was like, Andy, I'm going to be your booker and your publicist. I just like know this world.
All right. So Now I got to ask the other burning
Yeah.
question: is he like your ultimate nightmare client? Like you know too much about
No.
him, or is it one of those? I know where you live. I will show up with the chainsaw. Just do what I say, Andy. You know.
I mean, my brother is very easy to work with, thankfully. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. Like,
True.
I have had so many nightmare clients. I will never put myself through that again. So, my brother and I are like really close. Like, we're kind of best friends in a sense. So, like, and my family is very open. Like, we always have a really good dialogue. So, of communication, so I think my brother and I just work really well together. And then James, you're super chill and cool and calm, and like he's great at research, and I think it's just like a really good team. So I think it's just flowed that way because of it.
It is. Yeah. I will admit, and I've said this to other people before. I think when you have more than one person on a live feed being the hosts, they have to have two totally different personalities.
Yeah.
Because if you have two people on screen who are very like, you're going to over your guest. If you have two, well, hi guys, how are we doing today? It's like you're watching PBS at 3 a.m.
I was just about to say, Bob. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's how you paint. Yeah.
Exactly. Put some happy trees right up here.
Yeah. It's true.
It's been really cool watching them just develop and do things. But it was always one of those things like, how the hell are they getting these people? Now I know. Andy's like, sis, help.
I mean, they have gotten their own clients too, which is cool. So my brother is also a hustler and will like contact people on Instagram and he'll send them to me, which is great. It's helpful. So, yeah.
You're blowing my mind here because like when I first met your brother, he's going to thank me for this and I don't care. It was Ned Flanders. Hey, how we doing out there? Hey, buddy, you okay?
That's really funny.
And now you're like, yeah, he's this hustler. I'm like, I always knew you had a secret life, Crack. I told you. It was like you just got off the screen and you're beating puppy dogs, You're like,
you know what it is that this is how I looked at the practitioner. And this is something that I came right out of, and I think COVID kind of got me because I was actively being a meditation teacher. So I was in a very different space for a very long time. For 5 or 6 years, I was a meditation teacher. That's what I did on Thursday nights, actually. I did that every Thursday night for 6 years. And then if I wasn't there, I was at my center. So COVID happened, and it kind of opened my eyes that I was trying to figure out, because there was Andy, who is a dad, a husband. How do I merge this Buddhist person that I've become into this dad, this more, I can't say that I was somebody different, but it was trying to be able to merge two worlds. There's the way that my family saw me and the way that I acted, on a Sunday night when, the Cardinals are losing. And then there was the Buddhist trying to be calm. How do you merge that into, I've learned a lot, but that also wasn't exactly me either. I did have my moments where I want to be a hustler. I'm doing stuff. I'm more active, and that's being able to merge that and just be Andy. He is somebody who is on a spiritual path, but he's also a dad who's going to tell you off. He's also going to be somebody who plays guitar really too loud, and blares it throughout my house. But that's who Andy is. But it's pieces. And it's just like all of us. I think that all of us are pieces. And then wanting to put them together to merge them and just be in a holistic place. And this has given me that opportunity to really just be me. And I love that. I love that piece. I love the fact that I've been able to. My parents were musicians, and being able to be that piece is really important. That's part of my life, was this musical piece. My parents did that. I did this all my life. I played clarinet and band. So being that musician and still having it in you and having that piece in you and being able to express it has been a joy, just an absolute joy. And really getting back into music theory and doing stuff that is just really a blast. And, and doing it with a good friend, James.
Yeah. Now,
I mean, who would have known that we just happen to have Thursdays together? What was
I
it?
love it how we're about to make a transition into something I want to know, and he bolts. Now, back here, I'm just all right. What's
I was
happening?
trying to like the noise in the other room, so I'm trying to shut the door.
But let's hop in this Wayback Machine. Now, James, this one's for you, man. What got you two started together? Because talk about like the most unlikely pairing. Was it one of those you got your chocolate and my peanut butter kind of fights, and you went, "Hey, yeah, cool, we can do a live stream." What was it that got you guys doing this?
I'm trying to remember as well, like how we got like started.
We were on a. I
together
think what
with
it was is we were on some stream on a Thursday night. I was doing it with Joe. I think I had a Thursday night thing that I did with Joe, and he split off and did his thing on Thursday, and so I was like, I had a hard time for a very long time just doing it by myself. I don't want to do it by myself. I don't want to do live streams by myself. So I was looking for somebody to join, and Chef goes, "Hey, I'm available," and I'm like, "I like Chef. He's a good dude. Let's do a stream." We did. I don't even know if it was Beards and Desserts first. I don't know if it was that. I think it was just maybe it was Beards and Desserts.
I think it was just something with music or something first, and then we might have tossed in like a dessert or here and there. But
yeah, I think it was just beard products at first, and then. Beard products at first, and then because we were already getting like we knew a bunch of companies, so we were like, hey, I know a few companies, and we'll have them on. And I was already doing that with by myself, with Joe, and then when he split off, and I was just like looking for another person to do it with, and James had Thursday nights off.
Sweet. Now we're gonna kind of switch around here a little bit, all right? We're coming up on that half-hour mark, and I usually like to go about an hour 20 minutes, because it's still short enough to give us a lot of good stuff, and long enough so we get really cool topics to discuss. But one of the things we do a lot on my show is we talk about mental health. Mm-hmm. Now, I know with the last couple of years and the big C word we're not supposed to say, or the YouTube censors are going to shut everything down, society has really become just topsy-turvy and flipped everywhere. Now, I know, Nicole, with you being in the music industry, it's hit you guys really hard. Mm-hmm. One question that I love to ask everybody, and I'm going to start with Chef. We're going to go to Nicole, and then Andy, I want your answer because, I can mute you when you start doing an Andy answer. That's all I'm going to say. It's okay. You can laugh.
You are our dad.
I so am.
What is one thing you guys do when you feel your day getting away from you and you feel that crashing in? How do you help center yourself? And before you even answer, Andy, I swear to God, if it goes little cupping bowls and you're done.
He's just like,
yeah, right. That's not true.
What's the one thing Chef does to kind of bring that right back?
Really some music. Really music kind of just, it tones it down. Any kind of stress or whatever, I'll pop on music or whatever I'm kind of feeling. I'll throw on like some random stuff. It can be metal, it could be 80s stuff, it could be stuff. Music kind of centered me back to where I would kind of be like desserts or whatever, like cookies or whatever. It would kind of be just relaxing. So something like that, either music or cooking.
Okay, cool. Music and cooking. I get that, especially with you. Now, Miss Nicole. What do you do to get yourself recentered?
I would say definitely listening to music. I also would say I communicate pretty well, so I'll like reach out to a friend or my mom, or my brother actually. And then I also like to take walks. I kind of always like to get outside at some point of the day. And like my husband and I like to go to restaurants, and we live in downtown Nashville, so we get to like walk to a bunch of places. And I think just getting outside away from your computer is like, yeah. Oh, I know. Nashville has like some of the best foods too, which isn't always fantastic because it makes you gain a lot of weight. But it is good to get outside when it's not raining and cold. But yeah, I think you just have to get away from your computer, which we are all, sucked into our devices. And so yeah, that's what I kind of do.
So you mean yesterday's like Facebook tragedy really didn't, have you wanting to open a vein or anything?
No, what's funny is I honestly didn't even know what had happened until after the fact, because I'm too busy. Like I honestly am too busy during the day to be on social media. Like I'm constantly emailing and writing that it is hard for me to break away. But
we're so circling back to that one, the coach.
Yeah, my job is very stressful. It's not always exciting. Yeah. I mean, I'll get on it to like promote somebody or say something silly, but yeah, I don't always have time, sadly.
Yeah, I pretty much thought of everybody else that was freaking out that it went down.
I actually thought I got like canceled. I'm like, well, I can't post anything, can't send anything, can't send messages. Like, what did I do to get shut down?
Yeah.
All right, Andy, I'm putting you on a clock, bro. What does Andy do to get himself better?
Did you see that? I really have turned into my dad. Oh my God.
You two look alike. I told you when I saw him, I know exactly who your dad is.
I kid you not. My dad used to say this: if I haven't built I will build the house. I will come in through the front door. I'll come in through the back door. I'll come in through the windows. And then if I can't I'll go through the basement. And then if I can't get you, I'm going to blow up the house and rebuild it. And that's the way he is. I think I'm a tad better, but not sometimes. To ask my kids. You know what it is? So this is actually kind of a weird question because I did not go to my practice right away. I would say that I had my practice in me already, but the temple closed. So there was no Andy the meditator just show up and start oming. There was a lot of anxiety at first because I was stuck in the house because I was completely 100% remote the entire time.
Just Dagan.
My
favorite Muppet.
Yeah, he's a good
dude.
Nicole, when you see his beard, it will remind you of a Muppet. You can't see his mouth when he talks. I've even put down a $500 bounty to anybody who can show me video with his mouth moving.
Yeah, I need to see a picture.
He's a good dude.
Dagan is awesome.
Yeah, he's a really good dude. Do you know the interesting thing is that I really had to find my own, and that's kind of what the journey was. So I started doing a podcast. That's one thing that I did. Me and my friend Brian, who was High Mountain Sage, he's no longer doing that business, but we do Guru's podcast. We started reading books, and it's kind of like a book club that we just do a podcast review on. So we've really enjoyed doing that. So that was a very positive thing for myself to help kind of be centered and more spiritual again. And then being able to talk to family. I talk to Nicole probably at least once a week. She talks me out of a space a lot of times, especially when I'm in my head, because I get in my head a lot too, just like everybody else. And I'll be like, hey, our numbers are crap. Are we like, we just had this huge guest and nobody showed up, and she'll be like, that's the industry. What do you expect? And those are the people you really want to have on your side, are the people that are going to give you the fresh, the reality of, Andy, it's okay. It's okay. And that's what I have, really good family that's just really open to discuss whatever's on my mind, and being able to have that.
Well, you better be paying her well. That's all. I already know those 3 a.m. phone calls. Her phone goes off and fucking Andy, it's got to be him. Damn it.
Now I bug her about, actually, what do I bug you most about? I bug you about that, and then I'd like, hey, go ask your husband about which guitar I should go buy.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of that. But I think, this is the thing, too, is maybe a different subject sometime, but music industry is really rough. And I think because I've been in it for so long, and I've done my time, so to speak, and a lot of crying and blood, sweat, and tears, like they always say. That, you know, my brother being new to this, I'm kind of protective too. So I also am like, you know, taking him under my wing to be like, you've got it, it's going to be okay. And like, I do that with my clients too, because we also had a father who struggles with the same thing his whole life. So I think that it's just, you know, both of us always connect with each other, especially over stuff like this.
Nice.
You have to.
I'm going to answer this real quick.
Yeah.
Iron Wings, bro, seriously, dude, if he's nervous, it's just something new. Be there, help guide him through it. Be there every step of the way. Work with him. Don't lose your cool when like a fire doesn't start right away or he doesn't hook a fish. Not like, damn it, this is so easy. Just remember where you were when you first started and trying to impart that to him, because I've taught my son how to sharpen a knife, and thankfully he hasn't cut himself yet. It will happen sooner or later. Anybody who works with a knife, you're going to get bit. But you've got to be there and just guide him through that way, bro. That's all I can say.
I was going to say, like, if you don't mind, like, I used to be known as a city girl when I was, like, 19, working at a camp in California. And doing outdoor stuff is amazing, and I love it. And it took me a while to get into it, and really it helps to have somebody who's making it fun, not somebody who, I mean, my brother and I know this, my dad did not make things like that fun. It was always like, you know, him being mad or frustrated with us about things we couldn't do, and that just made us not want to do it. So if you make things fun, he'll totally get involved. And it's baby steps. Don't expect everything.
I think if you get really stressed about something, I guess you can kind of just try not to show your stress. Make something like a joke, a little something kind of funny or whatever. Don't make because obviously they're gonna feel your stress. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna feel what you're feeling, and so if you show that you're stressed, they're gonna be more scared to try it. If you make like a joke or something like that, they're gonna, oh, okay, you know, it's not so bad or whatever, that the fire didn't start right away or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You're kind of just making it fun. You know what I'm saying.
Now, James, we got one for you, bro.
Yeah. Oh, how have I go? Amon Amarth is one of my favorite bands. Lamb of God, Guar.
Guar.
Cannibal Corpse. I'm digging a Cannibal Corpse too. A little
heavy.
bit. It depends on how heavy I want to go. Yeah, it just depends on the mood.
It's a lot to do with that. True.
Why am I just thinking this? So James is like Slipknot and Andy's like Machine Gun Kelly. What? Sorry?
Yeah.
Huh?
No.
Oh, he's like AC/DC.
More AC/DC, that's for sure. Guns N' Roses.
Although, I mean, growing up, you did. I mean, I will say my brother growing up kind of taught me a lot about music, like what was cool in that period of time.
Oh, I swear to God, if she says boy bands, I'm going to copy it.
No, we are way too old for that. We the only boy band that like was our generation was terrible, and I didn't like New Kids on the Block.
Boy bands are terrible.
Like, right.
No, I was listening to like Milli Vanilli and Vanilla Ice back when New Kids on the Block was cool.
Yeah. I was into metal. I was into I guess I was into 80s metal.
You were into hair bands.
Hair bands, yeah.
I won't lie though, like when I was a kid, I listened to pretty much whatever was in the car. Like if my mom drove, my mom listened to like Milli Vanilli and like New Kids on the Block and all that stuff. So I mean, I listened to a lot of stuff.
Diverse, yeah.
Yeah, what's that for?
No, you liked NXS, Andy. Like you used to listen to NXS, which is what I used to love too, and like those 80s alternative bands.
If she says Winger, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be
no. But I will say my mom loved Dokken.
I like Dokken.
And George Lynch lived down the street from us growing up, which was fun.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Really great guitarist, actually. Amazing guitarist. Yeah.
Lynch Mob. Yeah.
Lynch Mob. Yeah.
Okay. Ooh,
I actually just went. I took my mom to see Hall & Oates recently.
Oh, come on, Hall & Oates. I love Hall & Oates.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who could go wrong? How was that, dude? How was that?
That was awesome. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, good times. I love it.
I've been trying to see them for years. They're so fun.
Well, how I got the tickets was it was somebody that was one of the members in the country club. So the bartender came to the back of the kitchen and was like, "Hey, does anybody like Hall & Oates? And I'm like, well, yeah. I mean, my mom listened to them growing up. I mean, that's how I like them. You know what I'm saying? I'll dabble into them a little bit, you know what I'm saying, depending on the mood. And she's like, oh, well, these people are getting rid of their tickets. And I'm like, well, how much? He's like, for free. And I'm like, I'll take them.
That's awesome.
Like, and it was on a Monday, so I'm like, I'm off. I'm like, whatever, let's go.
All right, so Nicole, got a good one for you here.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know you talked about your dad wanting everything perfect. If not, it really wasn't worth doing it. Do you think growing up under that really helped get you prepared for the music industry?
I should say, okay, so my dad didn't want everything perfect. He just, I don't know, what's a good way of putting it, Andy? He's not like perfectionist by any means, but he's very, like if you are into something, he wants you to like really be into it 1,000%. So he'll like, if you're like, I want to play flute, he's like, great, I bought you this flute, all this music, you're going to practice 3 times a day, you know? And I was like, wait, what? And it wasn't that I had to be perfect at it. I just had to do my best at it.
Yeah. Okay.
Here's how I describe it. It's too much. It just was too much at times. There was too much to it. There was like, you're gonna get guitar lessons, you're gonna get this, you're gonna get that. Now I was really into guitar, so it was perfect for me. I got the guitar lessons. I got everything that I wanted. And so I was dived in. I was playing 6 hours a day. So that was not a problem for me. But if you were just dabbling,
which is I'm the dabbler,
which is, you know, Nicole with the violin, Nicole with the flute. He really, and he knows music. So he wants you to be, I think he wants to connect with you. I think he wanted to connect with us in the music. Mm-hmm. And I think that because we weren't as interested as he was, and there was a time where he wasn't, when he was a kid, that he just kind of, but he wanted you to be surrounded by it to the point to where it was just too much. And I think that we kind of rejected that piece and said, no, I don't want to be in it that much. I just want to dabble. I just want to put my toes in the water and see how it is. My dad's just jump in.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Well, okay. Now, being a parent, I mean, at a double level, because I have mine, you know, the cuteness factor, and I have 2 that I got with this relationship. Mm-hmm. Whatever they tell me they want to do, I'm that kind of parent who let's pick you up, throw you in the deep end, and let's see if you like it. Okay, not I'm going to throw you in the deep end with 40 pounds of lead weight around your feet, and you got to figure it out. It's okay. You don't want to be a cook this week. You want to join the military. Okay, well, let's get you prepared for that. Okay, now you don't want to be in the military. You want to be a long-distance runner. Okay, let's get you ready for that. Oh,
yeah, no, that's what my dad did.
It's like whatever you want. I want to help you get ready for it and have you apply yourself, but not to the point where I'm soul crushing that it's like, oh my God, did I just at the wrong point in a video game? Did I just prevent the cure for AIDS from happening in her?
I think it just froze on him.
Yeah, it just froze on me. That's why you heard me scream, what the hell?
Oh, we didn't hear that part. I will say, I think that you have to, I mean, I have no kids, first of all, so me saying this, for me personally, I wish that I had just been thrown in the shallow end and told how to get to the deep end. And if I wanted to get there, then I would get there. If I didn't want to get there, then I didn't need to get there. I could swim back and get on shore.
That's the hardest thing to tell. And I think that the thing that we know about my dad is he loves us amazingly.
Unconditionally, yeah.
Unconditionally. So that was the one thing, but he definitely he wants you to succeed, and he had his idea of what success looked like. Mm-hmm. And I think that sometimes we varied on the decision. Like we definitely were, me and Nicole are very much similar in the fact that we want to wade out into it. Now I want to go full bore eventually, but first I want to see, is this, I feel comfortable? Is this something I like? Okay, now I want to go in.
Mm-hmm.
See, I get that. And that's where I'm trying not to crush anything with them. It's like, if you want this, I want you to go for it. I want you to be happy. Mm-hmm. So if you're not happy, okay, well, what will make you happy?
Sure.
But still, now speaking of happiness, that's a neat little segue. See how I did that, Andy?
Yeah, you did a good job.
You had made a mention about maybe playing a tune.
I did. So I can play a little bit of something. I have I have a little story behind the something that I'm going to be playing. So my mom is a amazing guitarist. She blows me away and never taught me anything because she said she would not be a good teacher for me because she's too close. However, she did do something amazing for me, and she probably about 6 or 7 years ago, no, probably longer than that, 8, 9 years ago, said, Andy, I have a special thing for you. And she gave me her Fender Stratocaster.
Ooh.
And said, Andy, I want you to have this. I know you love guitar. And this was my mom's baby. You couldn't even look at it. You couldn't even look at it. I mean, it was like her and her guild. Like she had 2 really, really good guitars. And she loved these things. And that's what I think musical instruments always seem to have that. And I love that. What did he say?
Stairway to Heaven or Smoke on the Water.
That's what I'm going to do. Oh, no. Is that Christy? I kid you not. Christy thinks that all I play is some version of Smoke on the Water.
That's funny.
Yeah, okay. Let me go. So that's the story behind this Strat that I'm playing.
Not Freebird.
Not Freebird.
Right? And just let everyone know watching this is kind of historic for the channel. We've never had this before. So it was
Also,
really, really cool of Andy to volunteer this. And I was instantly like, well, heck yeah.
Is this your song, Andy, or
No,
you're playing someone else's song?
I'm going to play some Jimmy.
You're doing a cover.
Doing a
Did you just give it away?
Well, I'm not going to give it away. We don't know whoever Jimmy is. I'm
I wonder. Yeah.
Left-handed genius from God, you know.
I know. I'm like, can anyone out there guess who he's going to play?
Yeah. So this is my mom's guitar. It's so awesome. I love it.
I see Jimmy Buffett. There we go.
That's awesome.
Jimmy
That's
Buffett.
beautiful.
Always knew Andy was a parrot head.
Probably Buffett.
Bravo.
Nice.
I don't think I've ever seen you play like that.
Yeah,
You're hiding from me.
that was awesome.
Yeah, it's a little bit of practice.
You're his publicist, and that's the first time you've seen that?
Well, I should say I'm Tasty Licks publicist.
That's awesome.
I'm a little nervous, so it was not as good as I would hoped, but
it was
still,
great.
Yeah, I still got a little bit. I just started. So the good thing about it is that this has been a really fun journey because it got me back into music theory and actually learning guitar again. So this is, I think, 6 months into really playing again. And so talk to me in 2 years and you're going to see a lot different. I think a lot more jazz coming out.
I've already seen a massive difference in you the whole time I've known you. So,
Oh,
yeah,
it's like I said, it's been really weird watching Ned Flanders for what I just saw. You know,
Ned Flanders, that's amazing.
Hey, Ned Flanders is a metal band too.
Yeah, he's got a heavy metal band.
Oh, that's a great heavy
Flanders.
metal band name.
The Ned Flanders Band.
Mhm.
I think isn't that what it's called?
It's out there. Yeah, it's out there. It's already out there.
That's
They all dress
hilarious.
like
Something like the Ned Flanders. Awesome.
There we
There
go.
was somebody that we know that has we interviewed him, and I'm not going to say the name of the band, but it was like he was like, oh, I had a heavy metal band, and it was, you're like, you had a heavy metal with that name, and it was like completely perverse. And I'm like, holy moly, that's crazy.
Who was it?
Oh, I have to think about it, but
tell
somebody
her
who
offline.
you would not think that they had this band.
Oh, I mean, I know a lot of those, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay,
But
so
we'll talk about it.
we do have one more question, and then we're going to hit a couple things before we hit that little wrap up because we're coming up on the hour mark.
Okay.
When you bring your guests on, do they realize there's a baking competition between you guys going on? Because sometimes your guests are like, "What?"
That's because they don't read.
They do not.
If they
I've
read
seen that-
my
I've seen-
emails.
So they do know ahead of time that you guys are going to have a bake-off.
They sure do. And I
And
am
it's in a
very,
very-
like, I say it all the time, and I'm like, please make sure you bring a dessert. Here is in the email exactly all the details. And if they're like, what? Then they just didn't read, which is typical these days anyways. No one reads anything. And that's
Which
my
is-
spiel. Read.
And we always have our segue to people who don't do that. We're like, hey, we do this thing, and this is we'll talk about music and food. So the food part is the very interesting thing. And we'll just talk about your band, what you like to eat. And they always like to talk about because food is one of those universals that, oh, I'll talk about food. I like to eat. So
It's an icebreaker too. It's great. And then you've got
I was gonna say, it's a good
James, who's
icebreaker.
a chef, so it's perfect.
Yeah, who kind of kicks Andy's butt every week in the bake-off.
Oh,
I try.
mean,
I tried. I went and got in special ingredients this last time, and he came up with 2 things, and I'm like, no way. He like, what happened to Cookie Day? Like, last time you made cookies. I'm like, this beats cookies.
Andy,
No.
I was sorry.
Well, the one time he brought a banana.
Oh, that's right, the banana. Was that my dad?
No, that was both of us. That's the funniest part about it.
I was like, I think my dad brought a
Your
banana.
dad ran into the
too.
kitchen. Your
Oh,
dad
my
ran into
dad
the
was
kitchen,
like
grabbed a
the
banana.
He did the
hardest
same thing.
guess.
He did the same thing I did. Like, I don't have a thing. Oh, a banana. And he's like, and then he brings out like apples. I got an apple too.
Yeah.
Making a chef one week just show up with a
Yeah,
box of
cool.
Jello in a bowl and go, look, I made Jello.
These are the ingredients for Jello. You could make so many things
And
with this
before I was
banana.
like, I was stole my before I was like I stole my kids' Halloween candy.
Oh,
I did. I was doing that. Now I'm actually trying to cook. I am trying to cook because actually my wife says lame Andy for just stealing cooked candy, but I also think it's kind of funny. To be honest with you, to bring a banana on a dessert show, you're like, that's what I brought.
I brought sweet tart jelly beans on your show, so what are you talking about? You know,
That's right. That's right.
they're pretty good too. I was up on that sugar.
Oh, I remember that. Yep.
All right, guys. Well, we're coming up on the hour mark, so we're going to hit that little, hit that little wrap up thing. I think we learned an awful lot about your show tonight, which is one of the big reasons why I like doing this. There was no drama out there whatsoever. It's more about getting to know you guys and why you're doing what you're doing. Because, some people will never ask you that question like, dude, why did you make a whole new channel? Like, seriously, Nicole, you're his sister? You claim? And that's with love, Andy. That's with love. Bro. But I'd love to throw this challenge out.
My mom thought I was good looking. I'm just letting you know.
All moms say that, okay?
My mom, and I will say the same. She's my stepmom/mom. She still says, Andy, you're a good looking kid. Still says it. Just
you
saying.
are. She just didn't like the long beard.
No, she did
likes
not.
The shit, yeah.
Yeah, she likes this whole look. And actually, I think it looks, to me, it's a lot easier to take care of and more professional.
So Andy's a mama's boy. Okay. Didn't need to know that ever.
Yeah, daddy's boy too.
Yeah, I'm a little bit of both.
Yeah,
I enjoy. I really love. I'll be honest with you. I love my family a lot. I really have a great family, and I've just been blessed to have such a great family. So
we do have a good family.
Yeah. You're different, but cool.
Yeah, I do throw this challenge out there at the end of every single show. Like we talked a little bit about mental health tonight. With everyone with lockdowns, are they back? Or restrictions, are they back? Mask things, are they back? We're not even going to go into any of those. People are all up and down and whatever. If you look at recidivism rates, alcoholism's on the rise, drug addicts are on the rise. Unfortunately, domestic violence is on the rise because a lot of people have forgotten how to have that interaction.
Mm-hmm.
Just simple things about picking up a phone and calling somebody and going, hey, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Now, I throw this challenge out all the time because this is very, very simple. Call 3 people this week. And I'm not talking about people you talk to normally. Call 3 people maybe you haven't spoke to in a while. We live in a digital age, unless Zuckerberg is going before Congress and pulls the plug on a lot of, instant messaging. You've got so many options that are out there for you. Call people, ask them how they're doing, and then do this next step. Shut up and listen. Because you never know how that simple call will change somebody's life. You never, ever know. Now, I also do this for you 3. Is there anything you want to add to that?
For sure.
Oh God,
So I'm going to say this, that coming from the position that I have a podcast that is about mental health, take your mental health should be seen as though just like the way you take care of your physical health. You should be not scared to go to a therapist. If you have issues, we all have issues. Find a friend, find a therapist that you feel comfortable with, read a book. There's so much material to help you out. And there's so many groups out there now to help you with whatever's going on with you. If you're a codependent, there's a codependent group. If you like too much cake, there's a cake group. There's just always a group for you to be able to hang around with like-minded people who are experiencing the same things that you are and being able to say it's okay. And that's the biggest thing, is to realize that you can find help and there are people there to support you. Find a good support group and also put you as somebody that's really important in your life. If you were to take a look at yourself as your best friend, then you're going to be doing a lot better. But most of us don't ever do that. And then because of that, we end up looking outside and trying to find ourselves outside in other things. You're not going to find yourself. Find yourself and be your best friend. And then find people also that support you all the way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, James or Nicole, who wants to add anything? Or
I mean, I just, you have to find an outlet too. It's a hard subject for me. Yeah, I've lost a lot of friends, but I think that what you guys are saying is definitely valid, and I don't know if there's much more to say to that, but please, reach out. There's always someone who loves you and cares about you.
Chef, did you freeze?
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean,
Oh,
Hear me?
We got you, buddy.
Oh, my. Can you hear me?
It's the
Yeah.
ghost in the machine.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
We can hear you, but we can't. You're frozen.
I'll say, like, most of the musicians I work with are suffering from mental health, and music is the best outlet for them. And it helps to also just have people who are listening and help you, you know?
I agree.
Yeah. Oh, James is gone.
Oh, bummer. It happens like about he's in storm area and there's so much
Oh,
going
yes.
on.
I mean, we had a big storm today in Nashville. They were talking about tornado warnings again.
Okay, so the other thing I do before we kind of wrap everything up is I ask you, so for the Tasty Licks crew, what do you got coming up this week? Anything you want to put any spoilers out there for, or just got to go, tune in to see the guest, and hopefully I'll pronounce the artist's name right.
I will do that elevator speech since it's my client. Their name.
Oh, wow. Andy, just get back and take the fifth, bro.
I don't know if Andy's done his research yet, but the band's name is De France.
Band name
And
is what? Band name is what?
De France. So it's lowercase de and then France, all one word. They are like Tom Petty / Led Zeppelin, Americana. They're from Arkansas. I mean, they're just really fantastic. And they are going to be on Thursday. The new lead singer is actually a guy who was in American Idol, who was pretty close to winning. And those are, obviously, I'll let them tell those stories. Because the American Idol stories are very interesting. But he's like a fantastic voice. Sounds like Robert Plant. And they're just like, they're touring all the time. They open for like Vanilla Ice the other day. They do a lot of 70s artists they'll open for. They're fantastic. I guarantee you'll like them if you check them out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now,
Andy, do you have anything to add?
What she said.
They're going to put out a new music video soon.
We are going to put out. So now that I started actually picking up my guitar again and I started accumulating equipment, I'm going to start doing reviews on equipment and guitars. Right. And I've picked up quite a bit of, and then, whatever James wants to add, if he wants to, we could do playlists, we could do YouTube playlists or anything like that will help. So we'll be adding more content. We have a playlist of Andy's 80s glam bam music, and then looking for, because James has a different metal. So I have that 80s metal thing down, the 80s glam metal, where James has metal that kind of is, like he has a new metal. He has like, yeah. My heaviest metal goes to like Megadeth. I mean, I still have Anthrax I have the big four in my list, but it stops at almost that, because that's as heavy as I go. Where James is going into Guar and Lamb of God, which is still heavy, pretty heavy stuff.
That is
even though Lamb of God sounds like, I've always thought, is that like a Christian band?
Yeah, no.
Lamb of God, no.
Well, cool. Now, like I usually do, I give you guys what tomorrow's video is going to be. Today was a special one that I had to release for Rogue Patriot. Tomorrow's going to be another men's grooming one, and if I can get this filmed this week without throwing it across the room, you guys are going to hear an awful lot about Gerber's new little play toy and how that little blade right there owns me right now. That's all I'm going to say. But still. Tasty Looks, guys, don't go anywhere, because after I roll that little outro, I got a couple questions for you in the green room. So, guys, as we're going to say in this little thing, I appreciate all of you giving me your time tonight. It was so much fun hanging out with you, simply because I learned a whole different side of you guys that basically I haven't seen before. So I say this to everybody out there watching this one. We'll be back next week with an incredible guest. I am so happy I got this guy hooked. It's a YouTuber that I have looked up to for a while. It's kind of been a mentor in certain areas. So you're going to have an amazing vet-on-vet conversation next Tuesday on my channel. So, guys, we're going to hit that little outro, and I will see everybody, hold on, come here, you little freaking laptop. Sorry. I will see all of you guys next week. So thank y'all, and I hope all of you, if I can get this thing going properly here in a moment. I swear to God, my computer hates me. There we go. All right, we're going to hit that outro. Don't go anywhere. Guys, thank you so much for the time you just gave me. I hope you enjoyed our guest tonight, if we had one, and yes, I'm pre-recording this, or that you might have enjoyed an open mic night or whatever the heck just happened. We're going to try to do these every single Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, and whatever you guys are in between and around the world. Next week, we should have another amazing guest or something really cool for you to watch. Thanks so much for watching all this stuff, guys, and we'll see you in our next one.